Some public figures become famous because of one profession. Others become interesting because they eventually move far beyond the career that first made them known. Amarna Miller belongs to the second category. Born in Madrid in 1990, she studied fine arts and entered the adult entertainment industry at 19, initially creating and producing her own projects. But her career would eventually take a very different direction. Today, she is publicly associated with writing, digital content, art, travel, media appearances, and activism. So, who is Amarna Miller? What was her life like before fame? Why did she leave her original career? And how did she transform herself into a writer and digital creator? Let's explore her story from beginning to end. Amarna Miller is the professional name of Marina Manat, a Spanish writer, artist, content creator, and activist, born in Madrid on October 29, 1990. She holds a degree in fine arts, with studies connected to photography and video art. Her public identity has evolved considerably over the years. Although she initially became known through adult entertainment, her later career increasingly centered on writing, digital communication, art, and social commentary. Before becoming a recognizable public figure, Miller was interested in creativity, literature, and visual arts. Her professional biography describes her as someone with a strong creative background, eventually studying fine arts and specializing in areas related to photography and video art. This creative foundation would later become important because her career was never limited to one medium. Even her stage name has a creative story behind it. Amarna refers to the ancient Egyptian site associated with the city of Akhetaten, while Miller was inspired by the writer Henry Miller. The combination reflected her interest in history, literature, and artistic expression. The name eventually became more than a professional alias. It became a recognizable personal brand. Miller entered the adult film industry at 19, but her beginnings were unusual because she initially produced and directed her own projects through her independent company, Omnia X. This meant that from the beginning she was involved not only in performing, but also in the creative and production sides of her work. That early independence became an important theme throughout her career. After beginning independently, Miller expanded into professional international productions in Europe and the United States. Her career eventually included collaborations with several major companies and creators, while she also explored artistic and self-produced projects. This period established her as an internationally recognized name. The most important transformation in Miller's story came when she gradually moved away from adult entertainment. She stopped filming adult productions voluntarily around 2017, later explaining that the decision developed gradually rather than happening because of one dramatic event. That decision opened the door to an entirely different chapter. Miller has spoken publicly about eventually feeling that her original profession was no longer the right long-term direction for her. In an interview with El País, she described the process as gradual and said that after taking a break, she realized she wanted to leave rather than simply pause. The decision became one of the defining turning points of her life and career. After leaving adult entertainment, writing became an increasingly important part of Miller's professional identity. She has contributed to Spanish media and published books dealing with subjects such as gender, identity, and women's experiences. Her writing gave her a new way to communicate ideas without being defined entirely by her previous profession. Miller's fine arts background also remained part of her identity. Her work has included photography, visual projects, exhibitions, and other forms of creative expression. Her portfolio describes her as an artist whose interests combine critical thinking, creativity, and travel. This artistic side helps explain why her career transformation wasn't simply a move from one job to another. Digital media became one of the most important tools in Miller's second career. She has used YouTube, social media, podcasts, and written media to communicate about subjects including sustainability, alternative lifestyles, feminism, culture, and social stigma. This allowed her to build an audience around ideas rather than relying solely on her earlier professional identity. Being a digital creator requires much more than simply publishing videos. There is research, writing, recording, editing, audience communication, social media management, and project development. Miller's Patreon profile describes her as an author, artist, and content creator, and says she has created work through social networks, YouTube, and media projects for years. Miller has developed several professional activities over the years, including writing, digital content, media appearances, creative projects, and audience-supported work. In a 2019 El País interview, she explained that Patreon contributions were helping finance the time required to plan, record, and edit her YouTube videos. Her current income mix, however, is private and should not be presented as a precise figure. There is no reliable, independently verified public figure for Amarna Miller's exact net worth in 2026. Online estimates may circulate, but these should be treated cautiously because they generally aren't based on audited financial records. A responsible documentary should therefore discuss her professional income sources without inventing a specific wealth figure. Miller has had a long and very professional career, but career visibility doesn't automatically reveal personal wealth. Her finances could involve income from writing, content creation, collaborations, media work, audience support, and other creative projects. Without verified financial documents, her current net worth remains unknown. Miller's public lifestyle has often been connected with travel, creativity, and alternative ways of living. El País documented a period when she traveled extensively through the United States in a van, while her current Patreon biography describes her earlier years as a digital nomad before settling in Spain. Her lifestyle story therefore goes beyond conventional ideas of celebrity luxury. For Miller, a typical professional day can involve several different creative roles. Writing, researching, recording digital content, communicating with audiences, preparing projects, and participating in media or cultural activities can all form part of her professional routine. Her current Patreon profile emphasizes continuing to develop artistic and literary projects while maintaining a direct relationship with her audience. Travel has been a recurring element in Miller's public story. Her digital biography describes years spent traveling around the world as a digital nomad, while her professional profiles also highlight travel as an important source of inspiration. For her, travel appears to have been more than tourism. It became part of the way she explored different lifestyles and creative perspectives. Perhaps one of the least obvious aspects of Miller's story is the extent of her academic and artistic background. Before becoming internationally recognized, she studied fine arts and developed interests in photography, video art, and literature. Her later career therefore represents an expansion of interests that were already present much earlier. Writing became one of the most important parts of Miller's reinvention. She published Manual de Psiconautica and later Vírgenes, Esposas, Amantes y Putas, a book centered on women's identities and social expectations. Her books helped establish a professional identity that was increasingly independent of her previous career. Miller has also appeared in numerous Spanish television, radio, and digital media programs. Her media work has included presenting Diario Vice, participating in programs such as Leitmotiv and La Resistencia, and appearing on radio and podcast projects. These appearances helped introduce audiences to a side of her personality beyond her original professional career. Activism became another major part of Miller's public identity. She has spoken and written about feminism, women's rights, LGBTQ+ issues, sustainability, and the social stigma surrounding former sex workers. Her activism reflects her broader attempt to control how her story is understood, rather than allowing one chapter of her life to define everything that followed. The decision to leave adult entertainment was arguably the biggest professional turning point. It required Miller to build a new identity while carrying the public recognition associated with her previous career. El País described this period as a process of reinvention, with Miller moving toward writing, media work, digital content, and activism. Miller has openly discussed the difficulty of being permanently associated with her former profession. In a 2019 interview, she acknowledged that the stigma connected with that period could follow her throughout her life. Rather than hiding that history, she has increasingly used her public platform to discuss the complexity of identity and the difficulty of being defined by a single chapter. Miller's current public identity is centered much stronger on writing, artistic projects, digital content, and communication. Her Patreon profile says she is focused on developing artistic and literary projects, while talent management information highlights her ongoing work as a creator, author, and activist. Her future could therefore involve more books, digital projects, cultural collaborations, podcasts, speaking engagements, and creative work. Amarna Miller's story is ultimately a story of reinvention. She began with a background in fine arts, entered an unconventional career at 19, built an international professional reputation, and eventually made the decision to move in an entirely new direction. Today, her public identity encompasses writing, art, digital content, travel, and activism. Her journey demonstrates that a person's professional identity doesn't have to remain fixed forever. Sometimes the most important chapter of a career begins after the chapter that made someone famous has ended. And that may be the most fascinating part of Amarna Miller's story. And that's the clean, documentary-style story of Amarna Miller, from her early creative interests and unconventional career. And that's the clean, documentary-style story of Amarna Miller, from her early creative interests and unconventional career to her transformation into a writer, artist, content creator, and activist. If you enjoyed this biography, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more clean documentary stories about fascinating personalities, career transformations, and the people behind the public image. And remember, a person's past may explain where they came from, but it doesn't have to determine where they go next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.